All right, so here we go. Lesson 3 objective. Students will solve one-step equations. So let's go through our guided notes. And bear with me, this is actually the first time I've done this. Just trying to learn a new way to put this in, so bear with me. I'll add creativity and stuff down the road. Right now I'm just trying to get this to work. All right, let's do this. So the next one, and click it over. All right, so solving one-step equations. All right, so here we go. Our goal here is to, of course, solve for x. We're trying to get x by itself. So when you look at any equation, your goal is always get x by itself. Just remember that. So the idea is, what are we going to add or subtract to both sides, or multiply or divide to both sides, blah, 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 no matter how easy or complex. That's the idea. So what do we do? What steps can we take? So always looking. So in this situation, we see x plus 4. It's equal to 3. And so we say, okay, I'm adding 4 to it, which is what's going on here. So to get rid of it, or kind of get rid of it in a way, you must do kind of two things to both sides, and you can do the opposite operation, or what's called the inverse. So if we're adding 4, we end up subtracting 4. So to get rid of the 4, you must do the inverse of what is already being done. The inverse of addition is subtraction. So right here we're going to write subtraction in the line. All right, and then what we're going to do is we're going to subtract what to both sides? We got 4 right here. So you're going to put a 4 here and a 4 there. So you got minus 4. Minus 4, and what's 4 take away 4? That's nothing. So that leaves me just with x over here. So we bring it down, and then 3 minus 4, negative 1. Here we go. Next one, 5 plus w equals 6. So real quick, to get the w by itself, you must get rid of the 5, because it's 5 plus w equals 6. The 5 is positive, so circle the word positive. To get rid of the 5, you must do the inverse of what is already being done. So the inverse of a positive 5 is subtract 5 from both sides. So you're going to write in the blank, subtract. All right, so now to show our work, we want to isolate w. To do that, we're going to have to, I can't see what I'm doing here. So subtract 5, subtract 5. We do it to both sides of the equal sign. So think of that equal sign as I'm adding 5 to a number, w, and it's equal to 6, right? So I can't subtract 5 to one side. It's no longer equal without subtracting 5 to the other side. So think of the equal side as kind of like a wall or a balance thing. So anyways, subtract 5 to both sides, it's going to give me 1. Leaves me with w by itself on the left side. All right, subtract 5, boom, done. So now we're going to go to x minus 6 equal to 8. Again, to get x by itself, you must get rid of we're going to get rid of that 6 there, right? So put a 6 there. 6 is being subtracted from x, because of the subtract sign is being subtracted from that. All right, so then to get rid of the 6, you must do the inverse, which is already being done. So the inverse operation is addition. All right, addition. So we put addition in the line. Now we just do the add 6 to both sides. So plus 6, that gives you x equal 14. All right. Here's example 4, negative 7 plus w equal 2. So we're trying to, again, the goal is always to get the variable by itself. So to get w by itself, you must get rid of the negative 7. All right, the negative 7. The 7 is negative, is another way of saying that. So say the word negative. To get rid of the, really that should say negative 7. To get rid of the negative 7, you must do the opposite, which is to add 7 to both sides. So I have a little typo here. To get rid of the negative 7 is what that should say. All right, you must do the opposite. So we are going to add 7 to both sides. And the reason is negative 7 So like a loss of $7 plus $7 is like 0. So that's why we do the opposite. That's nothing. W is 9 when we do the math there. All right. W equals 9. All right, so I'll give you a moment to double check to make sure your notes are correct. The blue is what should be in those blanks. So you should have the positive on this one. The word subtract 5. Over here, you should have the word subtracted from and the word addition down below. And over here, to get rid of the -7, the 7 is negative, then you must add 7 and then show +7 there. There you go. That's what it should look like so far. Now we're looking at a different kind of one-step equation. Still takes one step, but you don't see addition or subtraction signs on any of these, right? So if you look at that one, 4x equal 12 is the problem. Up here, -3x equal 9. Over here, x divided by 5 equal to 2. And over here, the opposite of w divided by 7 equal 3. And what we got here is still a one-step equation. So the idea here, we'll model this. You still got to get rid of that 4, but it's a little different with multiplication problems or division problems. So here's what we do. To get rid of the x, you must get rid of the 4 in a way, but not the same way. 4 is being what? Multiplied by x. So as you can see, to get rid of the 4, you must do the inverse operation or the opposite operation, which is to divide by 4. So the opposite is divide, or the opposite inverse operation is division. So what I'm going to do is divide both sides by 4. All right, so what does that do to give me an x? Well, we're not really subtracting the 4, but we're dividing by 4. So 4 divided by 4 is 1. So in a way, 4 divided by 4 is 1. It leaves me with 1 times x on the left side, right? Equal to 12 divided by 4, which is a 3. So I'm kind of adding that here. So it kind of leaves me with a 1 times x. But what 1 times x, well, what is that? 1 times 5 we know is 5, right? So 1 times x is just, we just call it x. So we don't have to put the 1 in front of the x just because it's not necessary. 1 times x is the same as x. So now we can just say x equal to 3. I won't be showing it that way anymore. I just wanted you to see why 4 divided by 4 gives you that x. All right? So over here, we're going to divide by, so -3. Divide sign. Fractions are division. That's all it is. That's all you're doing is hit divide by. So you divide by -3, you get -3. You can use your calculators on these, all right? And I kind of skipped through the blanks, but since it's division, multiplication again, to get rid of the -3, you must do the opposite, which is to divide by -3. So same thing here, we divided both sides by 4. We divide both sides by -3 here. I'm gonna erase. Okay. Sometimes you get one that's a division problem. X divided by 5 equal 2. So, I think I skipped the thing on that. Here we go. So x divided by 5 equal 2. So to divide by 5, it's being divided by 5. So the inverse operation is to multiply by 5. So the operation between x and 5 is what? It is division, all right? So to get rid of the 5, do the opposite. So which has already been done. The inverse operation is multiplication right here. Multiplication, all right? That's the inverse operation. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna hone in here. There's the problem. Gonna multiply both sides by 5, all right? Which gives me 5, in a weird way, it gives me 5 divided by 5, which leaves me with x equal to 2 times 5, which is 10. Those 5s actually, in a way, cancel, because you're multiplying by 5. So in a way, you're kind of multiplying by 5 over 1, okay, in a weird way. You don't have to put it that way. You can just put the times 5 as it is in the notes, but what that makes that, if I multiply by 5 to both sides, that shows me, oh, 5, now it leaves me with 5 times x divided by 5, which leaves me with 1x or x. So double check your answer though. 10 divided by 5 gives me what? 2, right? 10 divided by 5 equals 2. Over here, we do have a negative here, so I usually just multiply by whatever that number is, and if it's a -7, I just multiply by the -7. So just multiply both sides by -7. All right, so that gives me anything negative times negative is positive, leaves me with the W there, and it's equal to -21. All right. Oops, excuse me. Amazing.